The economic development in the world has been, we see impact into China. And what we see in China is, in the last 2 decades, the foreign direct investment flowing into China one way. We have become a two-way now, with the emerging China economy and private enterprises. Even some strong Chinese companies are going abroad. So the two-way traffic means that both, in China, we need both incoming expatriate international talents, but in China, we also need to have send out outbound talents and outbound expatriates to manage the Chinese company, Chinese investment out of China. That's number one challenge in the growth in China economy, will be having impact on the leadership in China. Number two, with the emerging technologies and the social medias, the world is becoming smaller and smaller. And that also means that as a future leaders, you have to handle with a lot of business disruptive technologies, disruptive communication tools, and the social medias, and of course, disruptive customer bases. I always said, today's customer base might not be your customer base tomorrow, but the same applies to that. Tomorrow's customer base, it might not be visible for you at the moment. So the future leaders in China with such a kind of emerging economy, emerging technologies, has to be, number one, anticipative. Number two, analyticals. In face of a big data, analytical, be selective, and engaging the large teams and technology tools are very essential for us. In view of the development of economy and development of Chinese talents and Chinese capital movement, there are a few very essential skills that require China leaders to get equipped with. Number one, for example, a clear communication skills, which enables all the future leaders for China to be globally communicatable. That means ability to communicate within a global community. The second is, it's no longer a hardware or IQ issues, but it's more EQ related. So how do you engage, how do you be a leadership team? How can you engage the people? How can you engage with the global executive members, with also the global employees on this world? I think Chinese leaders are still in the process of acquiring such technical skills. The third, which requires a lot of Chinese future leaders to have, is mobilities. The world is no longer Shanghai, and the world is no longer China only. You need to be mobile within China to the third, fourth tier cities or the less developed area, but you need also to mobilize yourself to any part of the world where your customer, your job need you to move around. And for example, last but not least, the skill, or let's say the character you need as a world leader is you have to know how to be patient in your career development. You know how to embrace the changes. For example, how to embrace the changes which is coming toward you or initiated by yourself. Those adaptability definitely need Chinese future leaders to get acquainted with. Now, how do we develop these skills or characters, or let's say, how do we foster such future leaders in various companies? Number one, of course, education. I think you need a training, you need education. Number two, any companies have to provide those talents with, let's say, a foster ground for them to grow. You cannot always use the traditional way to control, to bring them, suppress their creativities, innovative ideas. You need to let these future leaders to grow their ideas, to explore their imaginative, innovative, and creativities, and let them grow as a company. Let them develop their future characters, allow them to grow. And then third but not least is, of course, you need to create different jobs for them to rotate around. The young people and talented people normally, by nature, not patient. Okay, I know we want to be patient, but we also want to develop them into impatient, because impatient means in your professional career, you need to know how to manage your pace of career development, how to manage yourself in an undesirable situation. You are patient and challenge, accept the undesirable situation, grow yourself, or in a desirable situation, you can grow faster. So this is a quite tricky part of your career development for young people. For any companies, I think we need to give them a training ground, a training field, and let them also mobilize in a different parts of the world, even different parts of China. Of course, in developing talents, you need to also come up with modern technologies, allowing company-wise social medias for both internal employee communication as well as external brand campaign. I think these required the companies to embrace social media like WeChat. Of course, the Facebook is not available in China, but the Twitter is not available in China. But in China, you have WeChat, you have all kind of, let's say, Weibo, etc., etc. They are becoming very effective among the young generations. So never be too old to learn, but also never be too old to tell your generation not to learn.